Here's a strange truth. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it.
Yeah.
And yet, most leaders, most companies, most of us start with the wrong question. We talk about what we do, we explain how we're different, but we never start with the one thing that actually inspires action. What if the reason people don't listen to you isn't your product, your skills, or your ideas? What if it's because you've never told them why you exist? This is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And once you hear this idea, you'll never communicate the same way again. Hello, everyone.
Hi, all.
Welcome to Book Podcast Zone. I'm Emma.
And I'm John.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a book that, it feels like it's been around forever, but it's more relevant now in 2026 than maybe ever before.
Oh, for sure. It's one of those foundational texts. People think they know it because they've seen the TED Talk, the one with the flip chart.
Right, the 3 circles. We've all seen the diagram on like a million LinkedIn posts.
Exactly. But reading the book, the actual book, is a totally different experience. It's so much deeper. And honestly, it's more of a biology lesson than a business book.
That's what completely floored me. I went in expecting marketing frameworks and leadership jargon.
And you got neuroanatomy.
I got a full-on lesson in the evolution of the human brain. It argues that the way we make decisions, the way we trust people,
Yeah.
it has almost nothing to do with logic.
Which is a terrifying thought for most of us who, love our pro-con lists.
Totally. But before we get into the brain science, I want to set the stage with something I think everyone listening has felt.
Go for it.
Okay, so picture this. It's 1 a.m., you're in bed, the early light in the room is your phone, like 2 inches from your face.
Been there.
And you're deep down a rabbit hole of productivity videos.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching your 5th one in a row about the perfect morning routine for 2026 or how the CEO manages his to-do list.
Ah, yes. I'm being productive by learning about productivity trap.
It's a real trap. You're consuming all this information about what to do. You've downloaded all the apps. You bought the fancy, $100 planner. You've got the smart alarms set to wake you up with, like gentle bird sounds. But then the morning comes. What happens?
Snooze button. Every time.
You hit snooze. The project doesn't get started. The business plan doesn't get written. And you're left with this feeling of, what is wrong with me?
It's the paradox of our age, isn't it? We are drowning in information. We have more how-to guides and life hacks than any other time in history. If knowledge was the answer, we'd all be, enlightened billionaires with perfect abs.
But we're not. And that's the friction point. That's when we blame ourselves. We say, I'm just lazy, or I don't have enough discipline.
Or I just need a better system. One more app will fix it.
Exactly. But Sinek's argument, the core of this entire book, is that the problem isn't discipline. It's not the app. The missing piece is that we've completely forgotten why we're supposed to be doing any of this stuff in the first place.
That's it. His whole premise is deceptively simple. We all operate on kind of 3 levels. We know what we do. I'm an analyst, I'm a writer, I run a small business.
The job title, the daily tasks.
Right. And most of us can explain how we do it. I use a proprietary process, or I have a unique skill set, our so-called differentiators.
The unique selling proposition.
But Sinek says very, very few people or companies can clearly articulate why they do what they do.
And this is the first big stumbling block for people, right? Because when you say why, they immediately think
To make money.
to make a profit.
And he's very clear that's not a why. That's a result. A result is always a what.
He compares it to playing a game, right? You don't play baseball to score runs. You play to win.
Yeah.
The runs are just the metric that shows you're winning.
Perfect analogy. Profit is the same. It's just a metric.
When Sinek asks why, he means what's your purpose, what's your cause, what's your core belief? Why does your company even exist? And maybe the most important question of all,
Why should anyone care?
why should anyone care?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know the answer, you can't expect your customers, your employees, or even yourself to care. So that's our roadmap for this deep dive. We're going to break the book down part by part. We'll start with the status quo, this world of manipulation we're all stuck in. Then we'll get into the golden circle and the biology behind it.
And then we'll look at how that builds trust, how ideas actually spread, and the dark side of it, how success can actually ruin your why. And finally, how to start discovering your own.
Awesome. Let's start with part 1, the status quo, why we are stuck. Chapter 1 is titled, Assume You Know. This chapter called me out personally.
I think it calls everyone out. Our brains are built on assumptions. It's a survival mechanism. You assume the floor will hold you up. You assume the door handle will open the door.
You'd be paralyzed if you didn't.
You'd be paralyzed. But the problem is, we apply that same shortcut to complex problems, and our assumptions are often completely wrong. The example he uses in the book is a classic one from the auto industry.
The story about the American car execs visiting the Japanese factory.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So they're on the factory floor, and they see that at the end of the assembly line, a worker is checking the car doors to make sure they're flush with the frame. If they're not, he takes out a rubber mallet and gently taps them into place.
Okay, seems reasonable. A little quality control.
Right. So the American execs go back to their factories in Detroit, and they implement the same thing. They start having their workers use rubber mallets at the end of the line, but, their quality doesn't improve.
Why not?
Because they saw the mallet, but they completely misunderstood the why. They go back to Japan confused, and they ask, "We don't get it. We're using the mallets too." And the Japanese host says, "Oh, we don't use the mallets to fit the doors. We use them to make sure they were designed and built correctly from the beginning. The doors fit perfectly when they arrive at the line."
Oh, wow. So the Americans were treating the symptom.
They were treating the symptom, a poorly fitting door. The Japanese were focused on the cause, the design and manufacturing process itself.
And we do this in our own lives all the time. We feel unproductive, so our assumption is, I need a new planner. That's the rubber mallet. We buy the planner, but we're still unproductive.
Because maybe the real cause isn't your organization system. Maybe the cause is you hate your job and you have no motivation. The planner can't fix that.
Right. Or you feel lonely, so you assume, I need to go to more parties. But maybe the root cause is that you're not comfortable being yourself around people, so you go to the party and just stand in the corner feeling more alone than ever.
You're acting on a flawed assumption. You're treating the symptom with a solution that doesn't address the root cause, and you just end up more frustrated.
And that frustration, that ineffectiveness, leads directly into his next chapter. Chapter 2, Carrots and Sticks.
The machinery of modern life.
It really is. Can you define this for us? Because it sounds so simple, but it's literally everywhere.
It's the two primary tools of manipulation. And Sinek is careful to say that manipulation isn't necessarily evil. It's just a set of tactics you use when you don't have real inspiration to offer.
So the carrot is the reward.
Yep. The carrot is the prize. It's the price drop. The 50% off for a limited time sale. The promotion, the bonus check. If you do X, I'll give you Y. It's an incentive. It's an external incentive. And the stick is the flip side. Fear, punishment, peer pressure, aspiration. If you don't buy this, you'll be left behind. Our competitors are using this software and you're not. Or, the classic, if you don't use this face cream, you'll get wrinkles and look old.
This is the entire advertising industry.
It's the entire advertising industry. It's most of corporate management, and it's even how we try to manage ourselves.
This social media example is so perfect for 2026. Think about the doom scroll. These apps aren't inspiring us to stay online.
Not at all.
They're manipulating our brain chemistry. The little red notification dot, that's a carrot. There's a little promise of a dopamine hit. The infinite scroll, that's a carrot. Just one more swipe, maybe the next video will be the one that makes you happy.
And what about the apps we use for self-improvement? The language apps, the fitness apps?
The streak. Oh my gosh, the streak is the ultimate stick.
It's a perfect stick. You have a 150-day streak learning German. Don't break it.
The Duolingo owl starts sending you passive-aggressive emails. It's emotional blackmail from an algorithm.
But you're not learning German because you're passionate about German culture anymore. You're doing the 5-minute lesson so the little icon doesn't look sad. You're acting out of fear of loss.
And here's the crucial point that Sinek makes, and it's why this system is so hard to escape.
It works.
Manipulation works.
It absolutely works. If it didn't, people wouldn't use it. Promotions do get short-term results. Price drops do drive sales. Fear does make people meet a deadline.
But at what cost?
A huge cost. It destroys loyalty. It creates a purely transactional relationship.
Okay, explain that.
If a customer buys your product only because you offered the lowest price, they have zero loyalty to your brand. They are loyal to the deal. The second your competitor offers a better deal,
They're gone.
instantly. There's no relationship there. It's the same with employees. If they only work hard because they're afraid of being fired or because they're chasing a bonus, they're not loyal to the company's mission. They'll leave for an extra $10K without a second thought.
And personally, it leads to burnout. I mean, this explains why so many New Year's resolutions fail.
100%. The 30-day challenge is a classic carrot and stick model. You're pushing yourself with willpower and pressure. You're running on fumes. And on day 31, you collapse because the external motivation is gone and there was never any internal purpose driving it.
We're basically pushing the car instead of turning the key and driving it.
And Sinek is arguing, hey, there's a key, there's an alternative to all this pushing and pulling and manipulation.
Which brings us right to the core idea of the book. Before we dive into that solution, though, if you're getting value from this deep dive so far, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. It genuinely helps us continue making the show.
All right, let's get into part 2, the alternative perspective. Chapter 3 is where he introduces the big idea, the golden circle.
This is the famous diagram. Let's paint a picture for everyone. Imagine a dartboard, right? 3 concentric circles.
Yep, a target.
In the very center, the bullseye, you have the word why. The next ring out is how. And the big outer ring is what.
Perfect. Now, Sinek's fundamental argument is that almost everyone on the planet and almost every organization communicates from the outside in. They start with the what.
Give us a real-world example of that, like a standard company pitch.
Okay, let's take a generic computer company, we'll call them CompuCorp. Their marketing pitch, starting from the outside in, would sound like this. We sell great computers. That's the what.
Okay.
Then they move to the how. They're beautifully designed, have user-friendly features, and a super fast processor. And then maybe they get to a vague why, like, we do it to be the best. Finally, they ask you to buy one.
It's fine. It's logical. It's full of facts.
It's completely uninspiring. It doesn't connect with you on an emotional level. It's just a list of specs. Your neocortex, the logical part of your brain, processes it and goes, okay, noted. But it doesn't drive behavior.
But the truly great leaders and brands, they do the exact opposite.
They communicate from the inside out. They start with the why. Let's use his classic example, Apple. Apple's marketing doesn't start with the specs.
No, they start with a feeling, a belief.
Right. They start with the why. In everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently.
That's a purpose. It's not about a product.
Not yet. Then they move to the how. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly.
And only then, at the very end, do they get to the what.
We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one?
It's a world of difference. The first one is a sales pitch. The second one feels like a manifesto.
It feels like an identity. And if you're a person who also sees yourself as someone who thinks differently, you feel a connection. Buying their product becomes an act of self-expression. You're not just buying a laptop. You're telling the world who you are.
This maps so directly onto the side hustle and creator culture of 2026. You see so many people who want to start a YouTube channel or a podcast, and they obsess over the what.
All day long.
I need the 8K camera. I need the perfect microphone. I need a cool logo and a snappy intro. They spend months on the what.
But if you ask them why they're doing it, the answer is usually to get views or to make money, which we already know isn't a real why.
And the audience can feel it. The content feels hollow. It lacks a soul. Compare that to a creator who says, I believe that science education should be accessible and exciting for everyone, and I'm here to make that happen.
Even if the production value is terrible, you're hooked. You believe in their mission. You're not there for the 8K footage. You're there for the why.
Okay, so this sounds great. It sounds like a really compelling leadership philosophy. But then Sinek takes it to a whole other level in Chapter 4. The title says it all. This is not opinion. This is biology.
This is the part that, for me, elevates the book from a good idea to a profound one. He argues that the golden circle isn't just a clever communication tool, it's a perfect map of the human brain.
Okay, you've got to walk us through this slowly because this is the big aha moment.
For sure. So if you look at a cross-section of the human brain, you have different layers that evolved at different times. The newest part, the outer layer, is our neocortex.
That's the human brain, the smart part.
Right. It's our rational, analytical brain. It's responsible for all of our conscious thought, all the data, the facts, the figures, and, crucially, it's responsible for language.
Okay, so the neocortex corresponds to the what level of the circle?
Perfectly. It understands 16 gigabytes of RAM and 20% more efficient. It processes the features and benefits.
Got it. So what about the inner parts, the how and the why?
Those correspond to the middle section of our brain, the limbic system. The limbic brain is much, much older evolutionarily. It's the part of the brain we share with all other social mammals.
So what does it do?
It's responsible for all of our feelings: trust, loyalty, love, anger, joy. It's also the source of all human behavior and all our decision-making.
Wait, all decision-making comes from this emotional part of the brain?
All of it. But here's the kicker. This is the big reveal. The limbic brain has absolutely no capacity for language.
Not at all.
It doesn't understand words, it understands feelings. This is why we have the concept of a gut feeling.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
So when you have a gut decision,
It's your limbic brain making a choice based on your deep-seated values and beliefs, your why. But because it can't talk, it can't explain its reasoning to your neocortex.
so the neocortex has to scramble to come up with a logical reason after the fact.
Precisely. It's why we say things like, I don't know, it just felt right. That's the limbic brain. And then your neocortex jumps in and says, and also, this car has excellent gas mileage and a high safety rating.
You're justifying an emotional decision with rational data.
Every single time. You can present someone with all the facts and figures about why your product is superior. You can speak directly to their neocortex, but that's not the part of the brain that makes the decision to buy. The decision to trust, the decision to be loyal, that happens in the gut. It happens in the limbic brain.
So you can't logic someone into trusting you.
You literally can't. You're speaking the wrong language to the wrong part of the brain. You have to communicate the why to appeal to the limbic brain. You have to give it a feeling, a sense of shared values.
This explains so much about modern burnout. We try to force ourselves to do things. I should go to the gym because it's good for my health. That's a neocortex argument. But our limbic brain is like, I feel no connection to this. I don't want to.
It's a biological conflict. Your brain literally doesn't trust because it's productive. But it absolutely lights up when an action is connected to something you care about deep down.
Okay, but just having a why isn't a magic bullet. You can't just, write a mission statement and expect everything to fall into place. Which brings us to Chapter 5. Clarity, discipline, and consistency.
This is the execution phase. He lays out a formula, a hierarchy. All three pieces have to be in place. First is clarity of why. You have to be able to articulate it. It can't be fuzzy.
You have to actually know what you believe.
Second, you need the discipline of how. The hows are your values. They're the guiding principles that you will use to bring your cause to life. You have to hold yourself accountable to them.
And third, and this is the one where everyone messes up.
Consistency of what? Everything you do, everything you say, every product you release has to be proof of what you believe. Your whats have to be consistent with your why.
He has this brilliant little test for this, the celery test. I love this example.
It's such a simple and powerful filter for decision-making.
Can you lay it out?
Sure. Imagine your why is to do things that are good for my body, to live a healthy life. That's your clear why. You go to the supermarket and people give you advice. Someone says, oh, you should buy M&Ms, they're on sale. Another person says you need celery. Another says donuts are amazing. And someone else says rice milk.
A lot of conflicting whats.
Exactly. If you don't have a clear why, you might buy a little of everything. But if your filter is only things that are good for my body, the decision is easy. You buy the celery and the rice milk. You don't buy the M&Ms or the donuts, even if they're a good deal.
The why makes the decision for you. But here's the consistency part. What happens when people see your shopping cart?
If your cart is full of celery, rice milk, fruit, and vegetables, the person behind you in line knows exactly who you are and what you believe without you saying a single word.
They see consistency.
They see consistency, and that builds trust. But if your cart has celery and donuts and M&Ms and diet soda, they're confused. Is this person healthy? Are they having a cheat day? Your message is muddled. Your whats are inconsistent.
We see this constantly on social media in 2026. A creator starts out with a clear why. I want to help people achieve financial freedom. Their first videos are about budgeting and investing.
Great, consistent.
Then an algorithm trend pops up. Suddenly they're doing a viral dance challenge, then a cooking video. Then they're promoting a sketchy crypto coin because the sponsorship paid well.
The shopping cart is a mess. And what happens to their audience?
They leave. Because there's no trust. There's no consistent belief system to connect with. The creator's just chasing shiny objects, chasing the what of views and money, and they've lost their why.
It's the January 1st gym effect on a macro scale. A burst of inconsistent action that isn't rooted in a clear, disciplined why, and it just fizzles out.
It's so true. Okay, this is a great place to pause. Remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates if you're enjoying the deep dive. We're moving on to how this all comes together to build a following.
Let's do it. Part 3. Leaders need a following. This kicks off with Chapter 6, the emergence of trust.
Cynic makes a really important point here. He says that being in a position of authority doesn't make you a leader.
Not at all. Leading is a rank. You can be a manager, a CEO, you can have authority. People have to do what you say because you sign their paychecks. That's using a stick.
But being a leader is different.
Being a leader is a choice that other people make. People choose to follow you. Not because they have to, but because they want to.
And that choice is based on trust. But trust is a feeling, right? It's not a checklist.
Exactly. You can't logically prove to someone that they should trust you. It emerges. It's a biological reaction that happens in the limbic brain when we feel that someone else shares our values and beliefs.
So when you communicate from your light, why you're not trying to convince everyone, you're just holding up a flag.
You're a lighthouse. You're just shining your light, which is your core belief, and you're basically saying, this is what I believe, this is the hill I'm willing to die on.
And the people who believe the same thing are drawn to that light.
They're drawn to it. And just as importantly, people who don't believe what you believe are repelled by it. And Cynic argues that this is a good thing. You're not trying to get everyone to like you. You're filtering for the people who belong with you.
This is the absolute foundation of the creator economy. Think about the most successful YouTubers or streamers. They build these incredibly passionate communities.
They're tribes.
They are. And it's not because they offer giveaways or because their editing is the flashiest. It's because the audience feels that deep connection. They feel like, this person gets me. We're on the same team. We feel the same fire about this topic.
It's a feeling of belonging, which is one of the most powerful human drivers there is. And this idea of finding your tribe leads directly into Chapter 7. How a tipping point tips.
This is where he brings in the law of diffusion of innovations.
Yeah.
It sounds very academic, but it's one of the most practical ideas for anyone trying to get an idea to spread.
It is. It's a simple bell curve that explains how populations adopt new ideas or products. On the far left, you have your innovators. They're about 2.5% of the population.
These are the hardcore techies. They'll buy the first version of anything just because it's new.
Yep. I don't mind the bugs. Next to them, you have the early adopters, another 13.5%. These are the visionaries. They're not buying it because it's new. They're buying it because they see the potential. They understand the why.
And then you hit the big chasm in the middle.
You do. After that chasm, you have the big chunk of the population. The early majority and the late majority, that's 68% of people combined. And finally, on the far right, you have the laggards.
The laggards are the people who still had a flip phone in 2024.
Chuckles. Exactly. They only adopt something when it becomes the absolute unavoidable status quo. Now, the huge mistake everyone makes is they try to market their new idea to the big majority in the middle.
They want to go viral. They want mass market appeal from day one.
And it never works because the majority is practical and skeptical. They won't try something until someone else has tried it first and proven that it's safe and effective. They need social proof.
So you can't sell them on a dream.
You can't sell them on a why. You have to sell them on a what. And the what is lots of other people are already doing this. So who do you talk to?
You talk to the people on the left, the innovators and the early adopters.
You focus all of your energy on that first 15 to 18%. They are the ones who buy on gut feeling. They are willing to pay more or suffer through imperfections because they believe in your why. They want to be first.
Buying your product is a statement about their own identity.
That's it. And Cynic's point is, if you can capture the hearts and minds of that first 15%, they will do the selling for you. They will tell their majority friends. The idea will tip over the chasm and spread through the rest of the population on its own.
So for a creator in 2026, the lesson is, stop trying to make videos for everyone.
If you make content for everyone, you make it for no one.
Find your specific niche. Find the early adopters who share your weird, specific passion. Go deep with them, serve them, and trust that they will bring the rest of the world to you.
That is the biology of a movement. You don't start with the skeptics. You start with the true believers.
I love that. Okay, before we get into the nuts and bolts of execution, a quick reminder to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Let's move to part 4, rallying those who believe.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Chapter 8 is start with WHY, but know how.
He makes a great distinction here. He says the why is the vision, but the how is what brings it to life.
Right. Passion, the why, is just energy. It's a dream. But a dream without a plan, without a structure, just evaporates. The hows are the systems, the values, the processes that make the why tangible.
He talks about 2 different types of people, the why type and the how type.
This is a fantastic framework for understanding partnerships. The Y type is the visionary, the dreamer, the Steve Jobs. They live in the future. They see the destination, but they're often disorganized, chaotic.
Not great with the details.
Terrible with the details. Then you have the how type. This is the operator, the builder, the Steve Wozniak. They live in the present. They know how to build the systems, manage the finances, and actually make the thing work.
And his argument is that for a why to really scale and change the world, You need both.
You absolutely need both. The why type needs a how type to build the ship, and the how type needs a why type to tell them where to sail it.
A why without a how is just an idea in a notebook.
And a how without a why is just an efficient business with no soul, making widgets for the sake of making widgets.
This connects so well to the conversations we're having around AI right now. Let's say my personal why is to foster genuine human connection. It's a great why.
Beautiful why.
But then for my how, I decide to use an AI voice clone to narrate my content and AI bots to reply to all my comments because it's more efficient.
There's your conflict. Your how is actively undermining your why.
Exactly. My what a content will feel off, inauthentic. The audience's limbic brain will pick up on it even if they can't explain it. That gut feeling of something's not right here.
That's because it's not authentic. Authenticity isn't a buzzword.
Yeah.
It's when your what is a true physical manifestation of your why. If there's a disconnect, you're not authentic.
Which is why the sequence matters so much. Chapter 9 is know what, why, know how, then what.
The order is non-negotiable. It has to flow from the inside out. If you try to build it from the outside in, I want to be famous on TikTok. What? So I guess I'll make dance videos. How? So I guess my purpose is to entertain people. Why? The foundation is sand. It collapses the first time you face a headwind.
And chapter 10 has a title that really made me pause. Communication is not about speaking. It's about listening.
This is about symbols. He uses logos as an example.
Yeah.
The Nike swoosh, what is it? It's just a check mark. It has no inherent meaning.
Just a shape.
It's just a shape. It only has meaning because Nike has consistently, for decades, layered it with their why. Just do it. Victory. Athleticism. So no, that symbol is a shorthand for a whole set of beliefs.
So when you wear a shirt with that swoosh, you're not speaking. You're signaling.
You are signaling to the world what you believe. And influence, Sinek argues, isn't about shouting your message louder. It's about putting your symbols out there clearly and consistently so that the people who already believe what you believe can find you and raise their hands.
It's a shift from persuasion to attraction.
Connection over conversion. You're not trying to convince people. You're trying to find your people.
Man, that takes so much pressure off. Okay, let's brace ourselves for the dark side of this. What happens when it all goes right and success starts to poison the well? Before we get there, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
Part 5, The Challenge of Success. Chapter 11 is when WIY goes fuzzy.
This is the great paradox, isn't it? The very success you worked for becomes the biggest threat to the thing that got you there.
It's the tragedy of scale. When you start out, it's just you. Or a small team, the why is in the air. You all feel it. You make decisions based on your gut.
But then you grow. You get investors. You hire hundreds of people. You have to create systems and processes.
And you have to measure things. And what's easy to measure? What?
The what? Revenue, profit, user growth, click-through rate, quarterly earnings. What's hard to measure?
The why. How do you measure inspiration? Or trust? Or making a dent in the universe?
You can't put it on a spreadsheet.
Okay.
So what happens is we start to manage what we can measure. And slowly, insidiously, the focus shifts from the original purpose to just hitting the numbers.
This is the algorithm trap for creators in a nutshell. You start a channel because you love restoring old furniture. Your why is about craftsmanship and preserving history.
A noble why.
You make a few videos, and they do okay, but then you look at your analytics. And you see that one video where you had a dramatic fail in the title, got way more views.
The numbers. The what?
So you make another one like that, and another. You start chasing the clicks, chasing the retention graphs. And 2 years later, you're not restoring furniture anymore. You're just making reaction videos to other people's DIY disasters. Because that's what the algorithm rewards. You're making more money, and you're miserable. Your why has gone fuzzy. You've become a slave to the what. And that leads to the next step, which he calls split happens in chapter 12.
The split. That sounds ominous.
It is. It's the dissociation that happens when the why is completely lost and the organization or the person is just running on the fumes of what. In a company, this often happens when the visionary founder leaves and a numbers-driven CEO takes over.
They focus on efficiency, cutting costs.
They optimize the what and the how, but the soul is gone, the feeling is gone, the employees become disengaged, the customers feel it too. It becomes just another faceless corporation.
And this happens to us as individuals too. This isn't just a business problem.
Absolutely. Personal drift is the split. You took the safe career path, you climbed the ladder, you got the promotion, the money, money, the corner office. You have all the what's that society told you equal success.
But you wake up every morning with a pit in your stomach.
That feeling, that stress, that anxiety, the split, it's the gap between what you are doing every day and who you truly believe you are. The bigger the gap, the more stress you feel.
That's the definition of modern burnout. It's not just about working too many hours.
No. You can work 80 hours a week on something you love, on your why, and feel completely energized. Burnout is the friction of working hard for something that doesn't matter to you. It's the exhaustion of living an inauthentic life.
Wow. Okay. That's a heavy but important realization. So how do we fix it? How do we find or rediscover our why?
That's the final section.
Perfect. One last reminder to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And let's get into part 6. Discovering your why.
Chapter 13 is The Origins of a WHY. And he starts with a huge clarification.
Which is?
You don't invent a why. You don't create it in a weekend brainstorming session. You discover it.
He says it's like archaeology, not architecture.
Exactly. You're not building something new. You're digging for something that's already there. It's been there your whole life. You just have to uncover it.
And you find it by looking backward, not forward?
Your why comes from your past. It's forged in your upbringing, in the moments of your life that shaped you, both the good and the bad. The process is about looking at the stories of your life and finding the common thread, the theme that keeps showing up over and over again.
He suggests a really practical exercise for this, the friend exercise.
It's a great exercise, and anyone listening can try this, but it takes courage.
Okay, lay it out for us.
You go to a really good friend, not your partner, not a family member, but a friend who you know loves you for who you are, and you ask them a simple but very weird question. Why are we friends?
That is an awkward question to ask.
Super awkward. And their first reaction will be to list your what's. They'll say, I don't know, you're funny, you're smart, you're loyal.
The adjectives.
Right. And you have to push past that. You say, no, I appreciate that, but what is it about me specifically that makes it worthwhile for you to be my friend? You have to keep digging. Eventually, if they're a good friend, they'll give up on describing what you are and start describing how you make them feel.
And that's where the magic is.
That's the gold. They might say something like, honestly, when I'm with you, I feel like I can be my complete weird self without any judgment. Or when I'm around you, I feel inspired to try new things.
That feeling, that contribution.
Yeah.
That's your why.
That's your why being reflected back at you from someone who has experienced it. Your why might be to create a space where people can be their authentic selves, or to inspire others to push their boundaries. You're just hearing it articulated for the first time.
So the advice for everyone listening is don't try to invent some grand, world-changing life purpose tonight. Just look for a thread. What is the one contribution you can't help but make to the people around you?
Find that thread, because once you have clarity on it, you can apply it to anything. If your why is to bring simplicity to complexity, you can live that why as a teacher, a software designer, a parent, a chef. The job can change. The why is constant.
That's so liberating. You're not your job title, you're your contribution.
Which brings us perfectly to the last chapter, chapter 14, the new competition.
In the world of 2026, with infinite choice and endless noise, trying to compete on features feels like a losing game.
It's a race to the bottom. Someone will always have a better camera. Someone will always be cheaper. Someone will always have a slicker marketing campaign. If you're competing on the what, you will always be chasing.
So if you're not competing against them, who are you competing against?
Yourself. The only competition is, are you a clearer, more authentic expression of your why today than you were yesterday?
That's it. Is your work today a better reflection of what you believe than your work last year?
That's the only metric that matters. When you operate from that place, you're no longer playing their game, you're playing your own game. And funny enough, that's when you become magnetic. In a world saturated with noise, that quiet, consistent authenticity is what actually cuts through.
In an age of AI and deepfakes, true, purposeful humanity is the ultimate killer app.
It's the ultimate premium.
What a journey. We've gone from the biology of our ancient limbic brains to the burnout of the modern creator economy. As we wrap up, please do like, subscribe, and share for more updates if this has been valuable for you.
It really has been a journey, but if there's just one takeaway, I think it's this. The what provides the content. The how provides the structure, but the why provides the meaning. Without the why, everything else is just busy work.
It's the difference between motion and direction.
That's it.
Well, before we sign off, I know you had a final provocative thought to leave everyone with.
I do. It's something that really stuck with me. We spend our entire adult lives carefully building our resumes, right? We list our jobs, our skills, our accomplishments, a long list of our what's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to imagine you're at a party and someone asks you to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
But here's the rule. You're not allowed to say what you do. You can't use your job title. You can't talk about your company. You can't list your achievements. You can only introduce yourself using your why.
Oof. That's a challenge.
The question is, would you even know what to say? Would you even know who you are without your what's?
Something to chew on. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Start with Why.
My pleasure. Go find your why.
See you all next time.
Goodbye, everyone.